Alright guys, what's up? It's JC Scissorhands here. I'm doing a crop haircut today with a mid fade. Let's get it. See how it goes. Just trying to spin them around here. Very poorly. Doesn't look too smooth, but I'll get it one day. So we're gonna take the neck strip, put it around his neck, cape. Neck strip is very important to make sure since you use the cape on multiple people, right? You don't want everyone's neck germs getting all over the place. So use the neck strip to give it a barrier of contact. So I'm gonna spray him with some water here. Normally we do have a shampoo base and you can see it in the back, but kind of got lazy, so I'm just gonna spray him with some water. Make sure it's nice and wet. So I'm gonna start off with the horizontal section in the front. And whenever you're doing sections, you wanna make sure the hair is going in the way of the section you're gonna take. So see how I took a horizontal section? You want the hair going horizontal before you section it. So I'm just gonna start off with the primary line. I'm gonna point cut it in because he doesn't want it very straight. For me, this is kind of redundant because I did end up just lining him up with the trimmer and then point cutting it, but this is just to get the first guideline out of the way for the top. Lost some footage there, but you get the technique. So I'm gonna take a vertical section on the left side, part it. See how I comb it forward and then I take a vertical section. So I'm gonna take a vertical section so I can continue my guideline. So I can have, and the reason I did a vertical section first was so I can have a guideline on both sides, vertically and horizontally. So I'm gonna start with the horizontal sections now. And I'm gonna over direct the front part to the section I'm cutting it to so that it's sort of layered. So you can see I'm over directing. And the middle section I'm cutting to my second guideline. What I mean by that is I'm not over directing, I'm just cutting it to the same length as the previous section. And then in the back, I'm gonna over direct it to the middle because he has a sort of hair type where if you cut it too short, it's gonna stick up. And he also didn't want it too short in the back. So we're gonna keep some weight up in the back by over directing it to the middle section. You can see me point cutting and blunt cutting at different points. That's just to make sure he has very straight hair, so if you blunt cut it too much, it's gonna show and it's not gonna look very good. So you kind of want it to give it a little more flow by point cutting it, so it all sort of blends in together, so it all just doesn't look like, you don't want it to look like the way I'd visualize it is like stairs, sort of. You don't want it to look like straight pieces upon straight pieces. You want it to fray out a little bit more. This is just me, since I missed some sections in the front or before, I'm gonna just point cut those. And then I'm gonna comb everything into place, make sure everything's how I want it. Dust off your clients, always dust off your clients because especially people with sensitive skin, it's very uncomfortable to have that just tiny pieces of hair all over them. So Even if their skin isn't sensitive, you always want to dust off your clients. You never know. They might be feeling uncomfortable, especially when it's stuck behind the neck strap. That's the worst. So we're gonna take the 2 open. I'm just gonna start by debulking and creating the shape of my haircut. So I'm not gonna dig into the parietal ridge, which is the part where the head starts to curve in. I'm sort of gonna go straight up. That way it creates a nice shape. And then I'm gonna start with the 0, closed on the blade closed on my Babyliss FX trimmer. This is the Sophie Pock edition with the fade blade. And then we're gonna go with the blade open. And you always want your guidelines to be parallel. That way it makes your blend look very symmetrical, and you want your blends to be it'll create dark spots later if you don't make them very parallel. So I'm just gonna start fading it out by closing the blade and flicking. Very, very soft. I also don't like to make harsh guidelines because it just makes it way harder to blend it out. So when I created the blade open guideline, I just sort of flicked out at the end. There you go. Bottom line is blended. We're gonna go with the 1 guard open. Same thing, parallel to the previous guideline. And then I'm gonna pause it right here, but not pause it. Let's pause this. So what I did there is, what I did at the end, before I took off the 1 guard, I closed it and went back around, so to soften up that line between the 0.5 and the 1 guard. And then I'm going with the 2. So everything's a 2.5 right now. So I went in with the 2 just to blend in between the 1 open and the thing. And then we're gonna go in with the 1.5 guard, just to blend out between the 1 open and the 2. And then I'm gonna go with the half guard to blend out the line between the 0.5 and the 1 open. That technique right there I'm using, where the blade, where I put the clipper upside down, it's called raking. That way it extends the length of the hair that you're cutting. So basically, when I do flip it upside down, it's more like a 1.5 than a half guard. Especially when I open it, I can go all the way up to a 2 just with the half guard. That way it's more efficient. You always want your fading technique to be very simple. The more simple your fading technique is, the quicker you can do it, the more efficient it is. You don't want it to take too long on a fade, because honestly, a fade, anyone can do a fade. You just want it to be very simple. Same technique. So I'm just detailing it right now with the 0.5. The 0.5 guard is my main detailing guard, because since I can use that the raking technique to go in between guards and skip guards, instead of having to always put on a 1 guard or 2 guard or a 1.5, I can just use the 0.5 guard. So I'm doing a little more detailing with the 1.5 guard. You always want to detail your blends. And I'm going to take the trimmer upside down so I don't create a harsh guideline, and just cut away that bulk at the bottom. And then I'm going to go back with my shaver just to finally bald it out. And there you go, you have your blend. I'm gonna detail it just a little bit more with the trimmer because I don't like how it fades into the skin. And then I'm gonna line up the curve right there. Do a little more detailing. Line up the curve on the left side, or yeah, that's the left side, yep. Do a little more detailing, see some dark spots. That's pretty much it for the blend. And the front, I did do the line in the front. Oh, actually no, we're gonna do trim over comb. The reason I like the Gold FX trimmer is because it just mows through hair, so I can use it as a debulker. I'm gonna line up the bars, and we're gonna line up the front. I did the line in the beginning normally with the scissors, but I'm just redoing this again because it didn't come out how I wanted it to. I should have just not done that in the first place, but it's alright, don't worry. And then I'm gonna soften it up by point cutting into it with the scissors. Okay. And now I'm gonna add in some texture now that it's dry. Just gonna create some mountains and valleys. Just gonna grab random sections, parts that I feel like are very heavy, are the best to texturize. Dust them off. Honestly, I could have added way more texture, but he didn't want it too textured because he doesn't style it too often. So he could either style it or just leave it straight looking how it is. And then I did shampoo him and everything, and now we're gonna give him a nice style. So I'm just gonna blow dry everything, put everything into place. I'm gonna come with the molding clay by Davinus and really show off the texture of the haircut by creating some layers in between the sections with the molding clay. As you can see how I directed the back. It's kind of ends up in the middle section, the hairs. And added some texturizing powder just to add in some more volume and texture. Really finishes the cut, and here it is. Finished product. Blend, haircut, everything. Let me know what you guys think. This is my first video, so things are just gonna get better from here. But yeah, here's the final product. Let me know what you guys think. I think it came out pretty well. All right.